All right. Welcome again, everyone, to Chef Life Live. Well, not everyone yet, because we don't have anyone watching quite yet, but that's okay. There we go. We got a viewer. Thank you, viewer on Facebook. Appreciate you being here. This is Chef Life Live. I'm your host, Chef Alex Ottusch, and this is where we take a deeper look into the food service industry and see what it's all about, where we talk to different chefs, managers, dishwashers, servers, anybody, to get a deeper understanding of this crazy world that is the food service. My guests tonight are the owners of Community Tavern in Portage Park here in Chicago, Brenna and Joey. I will bring them on and we will get to know them a little bit better. Hey guys.
Hey. Hi.
How are you tonight?
Doing all right.
Doing all right? Good. All right, so we'll just jump into it. How long have you guys been in the food service industry?
Like since I was 15.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
I'm 30
makes sense
now, so.
Yeah, like 15 years-ish.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, you guys both look great for being in the industry for 15 years. That's a tough industry. It can chew you up and spit you out, you know. And you guys look great, so doing something right.
We're in a good zone now.
Yeah, there we go. Are you guys originally from Chicago?
I'm not. I'm from Serena, Illinois, which is a really small town northwest of the city.
Okay.
I grew
cool.
up in Park Ridge. It's a suburb just northwest of here. So.
Okay, so pretty close.
So basically, one of those people would say they're from Chicago, but they grew up in the suburbs. So that's me.
Yeah. Well, you know, close enough, right?
Yeah.
You're here now. Joey, you both spent some time working in New York, right?
I did not. No,
okay.
We just had a mutual friend in New York, which is what
okay.
we were there for visits.
Okay. Well, then, Joey, in your opinion, which city, New York or Chicago, has a better food scene?
Oh man, Chicago. I mean, just because I like it here better. I don't know. I mean, they both have amazing food scenes. I mean, it's
right.
You have the same quality here and there.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to. It's just it's a different mentality out there. You know, it's a different
for sure.
Like vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like New York food is like more sprawling, whereas Chicago's is like more compact.
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. Like,
New
York, like whether you're in Manhattan or Brooklyn or anywhere, like there's more stuff all over the place. Whereas in Chicago, you'll have clusters of like groups of restaurants or types of restaurants.
Okay.
New York is just fucking everywhere.
I feel like in
everywhere
Chicago, we're like separated by anyone in the industry by like 3 degrees or something. You know, it's like such small.
Yeah, absolutely, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I still haven't been to New York. I've passed it and I've seen it, but I haven't really been able to experience. But I have heard that like the food scenes between Chicago and New York are just like, they're both really great, but they're just so different, and it's kind of hard to explain. Like, you know, like you're saying, it's just like you just have to experience it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's just different, but the same. You know.
Yeah. Same, but different.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. So what are some of your guys' favorite foods?
Oh man.
Eggs Benedict.
That's a good one.
Chocolate.
Nachos.
That's
noodles.
Those are good. Those are good ones.
Yeah, noodles in general. Just
noodles. Yeah.
Like, I mean, any kind of oily, spicy noodle. I guess.
Yeah, Don noodles for sure.
Yeah, I feel you there. Have you guys had any nachos or noodles like really great that you've had lately anywhere, or that you've made yourself, I guess?
No, LD Pho. That's the place.
Yeah, so
this is good.
Yeah, there's this little place. We've never been in person, but we order it on Grubhub because we're industry people, and like order Grubhub food at night to feed ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
LD Pho is awesome. They have like really great, super fresh Vietnamese food, and I don't even know the name of the thing that I get. It's like this like warm vermicelli noodle salad thing with a shrimp and pork spring roll. It's freaking delicious. It's like my favorite thing. I get it every single time. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I also made some really good don noodles.
Brenna makes really good don noodles. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Do you guys have any actual like favorite Chicago food spots other than like your surrounding area?
Avec.
Yeah, Avec's probably our number one go-to for like the place that we always go back to. We feel comfortable. You know, like the place we return to a lot because we actually don't get out a whole lot. Like ever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When we do get out, we do try. We have such a growing list, you know, and we always try.
Yeah.
We want to like try a new place or go to a friend's place or something like that. But Avec's the one that we usually end up returning to a lot.
Like 2 years I've been going to Avec, and it's just always been the same and awesome.
And Lula we go to.
And Lula. Yeah. I mean, Lula's like. Duh.
Lula?
Yeah.
We love Lula Cafe. It's pretty good.
It's nice.
Do you have a favorite upscale type restaurant?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really. I don't know. I don't really like going out to places like that much. But
okay.
More.
That's fair.
I feel like when we were starting out in the industry, like that was what you wanted to do. You were like you would spend your last penny to like go to all of the top places. You had your list and everything. And now once you're seasoned and when you're working so much, for us, like owning a restaurant, we really look for things that are almost like a little homier, you know, like more casual.
I'd rather go to like an independent restaurant like 20 times than go to
like a big group.
Yeah. Somewhere once or twice.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather spend that money like that. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't.
We went to Etta a couple of times in the last year, and that was good.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess that's also not really like fine dining. I feel like it's kind of community.
I honestly don't even remember the last like fine dining place we went to.
You know what? One of our best experience, it was a long time ago, but was for an anniversary dinner, and we went to Western Springs. And they blew us out. We had like a 7-course tasting menu, and the portions were huge. The food was amazing. I was getting such anxiety because like course 4, I was feeling like my stomach needed to be pumped. And at the end, we were like a cocktail car, and like they did it up. It was unbelievable. Nice. It's an amazing restaurant.
Nice. Are they still? I mean, obviously, right now in Chicago, dining can't really go out dining, but are they doing takeout or anything right now?
They're going.
Nice.
They're doing a lot of like take-home meal kits and dinners. They're doing like take-home cocktails. Their social media presence is really strong. They're a really great team over there. So
that's great. That's really good. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't been there. So, Joey, this question is more for you. Well, we both can answer it. I know, Brenna, you had some experience in back of house as well. What's one of the most frustrating dishes you've ever been in charge of or created?
Frustrating. Done a lot of dumb shit that I've had to do. Remember that turkey sandwich I told you about it?
Oh my God, yeah.
In New York, so I was working in New York, and one of my sous chefs he was putting on a turkey sandwich for lunch, right? And he decides to, have us take a turkey and debone it, and then like cure it, roll it, and then poach it, and then cool it down, and then the next day we roast it, and then we slice it on a slicer, and then it's a sandwich, it's a turkey sandwich. And that was it. And it tasted like a fucking turkey sandwich. So that was a frustrating thing.
That makes sense. A lot of
harder.
A lot of effort for basically just a turkey sandwich, you know.
It's really good, but I mean, it's so that's
just frustrating. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. So Brenna, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
So I was at Moto for a little. Moto was my externship out of culinary school, and I was there, and I was in charge for the longest time. Even when I at Moto, every position there rotates. So back at the house, the front of the house, and rotates position.
Oh wow!
Part of what their
That's cool.
was at the time, and it was the first molecular gastronomy restaurant in Chicago. We did edible menus, and so every single diner got a personalized edible menu, and I was in charge of things, and it was the messiest, most ridiculous, tedious thing, and it took forever, and I loved it, but also hated it at the same time.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I understand. I understand that. But Brenna, now you work mainly front of house. That's kind of been your main experience. Has there been a most frustrating customer that you can remember that you've had to deal with? That you would feel okay with talking about?
Sure. I don't know. It's tough to think of one person that is been the cherry on top of
Yeah.
There's definitely instances that I think of, but it's different things. It's you have I have memories of certain customers that would just make me feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're just outright extreme assholes. But it is few and far between. Most people, if they even aren't the greatest, you never know what's going on. They might be having a really terrible day. And I think for a true front of house person.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was assuming that this Pat O'Donnell that you guys know them, and so
he thinks that meat isn't in a dish, that it's not a real meal. Just kidding, Pat. But actually, this was not a terrible experience, but it was a frustrating and challenging experience at Community. I don't know, a year and a half ago, we had a bunch of Canadians come into Chicago for a Canadian bachelor party, and they
fucking Canadians.
Yeah, no, seriously, it was 10 lumberjack-esque Canadian dudes. They were the Chads of Canada. They were definitely hyped up on various things. They were out of their minds. But they were also really friendly at the same time. They're just very boisterous and loud and crazy.
Yeah.
And I kind of saved their lives that night because somehow they were in Portage Park for their Canadian bachelor party Chicago extravaganza. And then they told me that they were going to some club, and it was on the west side, a club that I had never heard of, but looked up.
Yeah.
And they got the names mixed up. I think they were supposed to go to, it was a bar in Wicker Park was what they thought, but they pre-bought bottle service for this club on the west side. And looking at this group of very, very white, boisterous Canadian lumberjacks, I was just you can't go there. And they were they were out of control. They were on the verge of just bringing the restaurant into chaos.
Oh wow.
But they're also super fun at the same time.
That's good. I mean, if they're Canadian, you assume they're just gonna be friendly, right? Regardless of how they act, just friendly.
Yeah, they were friendly. They were very out of control.
And loud.
They were so
loud.
They were
That's
very
funny.
out of control. They were very difficult for our server at the time. But
I could imagine.
I got them over and I sent them on their way. So.
All right. Well, as long as they didn't cause any damage or hurt anybody, I feel that's
a
the win, right?
Yeah.
All right. So my last question of our just getting to know you is, and you can both answer this because you both spent some time in the kitchen. What is your most essential kitchen tool besides a knife?
Oh, I know what yours is.
Peeler, vegetable peeler.
Peeler, that's a good one.
You're right. It's totally a spoon.
Oh, well, I mean, you need multiple spoons. If you're talking about one,
I think it can be whatever you find that you. I mean, yeah. I mean, a vegetable peeler that's a good answer. I mean, spoons is good too. Obviously.
Yeah.
Spoons are quite essential for any kitchen. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know what mine is.
Cake spatula.
Yeah, mine's definitely something to do with cakes. Probably my KitchenAid mixer. I have 2 of them that I
those are
polish them. Love them.
Yeah, I mean you gotta take care of them, you know. Yeah. Take care of your kitchen equipment. That makes sense. All right. So now we're going to step into our little bit deeper questions so we can really get to know you guys and what you're all about. And this is a little segment that requires no garnish. All right. So did either of you think that you would end up within the food service as a profession, or is it something else that you thought you would do?
For me, I did not. I was going to school. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. So I was a double major in business and political science, and fully on track, thinking I was going to be a lawyer. And I don't know. I just had some weird early life crisis, and I ultimately decided to withdraw from school and go to culinary school. I don't know why.
Were your parents upset about that?
Weirdly not. I thought we were going to be so terrified. I was on honor roll. I was president of my class in college. I was going
nice.
for it. My mom literally said to me, "Yeah, I didn't actually picture you as a lawyer," and they were all for it. And I left school and moved across the country and went to culinary school.
Okay. That's pretty cool, though. I mean,
it all worked out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Joey?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't really, I just didn't know what I was going to do. I was like cooking growing up.
Yeah.
And then after high school, I went to college for a couple months, and then I didn't. So I didn't really know. And then I ended up going to culinary school, and that was it. I mean,
that was it.
Yes, I kind of always had it in the back of my mind. I would be doing something that has to do with cooking, but didn't really kind of come to fruition until a little after high school. So
that makes sense. I kind of did the same thing. I went to college after high school and just wasn't a really good fit. And I ended up joining the Navy after that, but I eventually got to cooking. So yeah, I mean, we all take crazy paths in life. That was one of the things that kind of hooked me about kitchens, was you met so many different people from all different walks of life and backgrounds. And so it was just kind of cool. And so that's how I fell in love with it. But for you guys, what finally got you, when you finally got into a professional kitchen, or I guess into culinary school, what was your hook that was oh man, this is it, I'm doing this?
For me, I think it really was the team aspect. It's a grueling job. When I first was getting in from a super professional stage, this is my career, and that's what I was doubling down on. I was a cook, and I went to Moto. I was going fine dining, going all the way for it. And that was a grueling job. I mean, next to no pay, no benefits.
Yeah.
Just awful. But there was such a camaraderie. There was such a kind of being in the trenches with people and bonding in a way, and facing challenges and coming together to sort of tackle this series of impossible tasks within an impossible time frame, but making it happen at the end of the day. And then going and sharing war stories after, and going, like bonding in that way. I think that really just connected with me. Like I always grew up doing sports and really liked the team aspect of that. So I think that's probably what like really pulled me in.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, like as simple as like I got in the kitchen and it was, aggressive. It was something that I really liked doing. I mean, not even just the cooking part of it, just the physical work and like the dudes I was around and like a couple of my first jobs were awesome. And then I was eventually just like, I could do something that I really like for a living.
Yeah.
And why not,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one. I have a friend who's like in finance, and he used to stick to a very strict like dress code and everything. And that was one thing that's kind of nice about working in kitchens. You kind of just get to express yourself.
Yeah.
Little details here and there, whether it's like the white coat and wearing a different bandana or whatever it is, but you kind of have that sense of getting to express yourself a little bit more. So, it's a fun place to be in a kitchen sometimes. How do you feel about the yes chef culture, that like kind of do or die sensibility in a kitchen of like, chef says this, that's it. You do go to extreme lengths to get that done.
I mean, I think it's stupid because, a lot of times it's like, I mean, that's what I was brought up in. And it's like, so the mentality is chef tells you to do something, but what if you can't fucking do it? And you're just going to try to do something anyway. It's just like, it creates like this
culture of abuse.
Yeah. Like this, just walking on eggshells too, that I don't think really works in terms of like getting the job done. That time I think it was there, and now I don't think it is as much. I mean, especially now.
Yeah, I think that mindset is antiquated. Like people, it's been proven people aren't motivated by like fear and that sort of thing. Like to get the most out of people is to sort of like empower them. I mean, I think it's like since the Industrial Revolution, we've like figured out that that's not like just giving people more challenges and browbeating them and making them feel afraid of you isn't the best way to facilitate loyalty, longevity, like motivation, work out of people. And that chef culture, as we come to find out now, we have over the years, it's been trickling out, and even more so now. Sorry, I was reading.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm putting up the comments as they come in so you guys can see them of what people are saying.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that it does really help foster a culture of abuse when that becomes the culture. Like just chef. This one guy is telling us this is what it is, and so that's what it is. The stories start coming out now about these terrible things that have happened to people, about these injustices, mental, physical, sexual abuse that people have suffered through kitchens, through restaurants, front of the house. That kind of culture does help facilitate that kind of growth. I'm not saying that happens in every restaurant that has that culture and sticks that sort of like brigade system. But it is easier for that to happen because it's saying like, I say this, no one else can speak out. Whereas if you have measures that people do feel empowered, that if they feel that something is wrong or feel more valued in just like their thought process, whether it's something going on business-wise or with food or whatever, they have an avenue to address that. That's just going to ultimately be a better experience for the employees and thus a better, more empowering culture and a stronger business.
I think it breaks down to just respect, right? So it's like a lot of times it's like the yes chef. It's like it's a sign of respect and stuff in terms of just the verbiage of it. There's so many other ways to garner respect in the kitchen rather than just being this aggressive, hard guy or girl, or whatever. All the
Yeah.
And
right.
And with that said, like, I do think it is important to have like that sort of like a yes chef kind of mentality to a certain degree, especially in the course of a shift. We have strict rules and we have lines of communication that need to be followed a certain way. People should be back in the kitchen just talking to anyone behind the line, because that's not efficient for solving whatever problem is within a very chaotic service. So there are rules that you need to follow within that and show the respect of those that are in charge. But I think it's more, I think there are ways to empower your people and open yourself up in a way outside of that is more wholesome and where you are earning their respect, not just demanding it. And I think that's
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So what does the title of chef then mean to you?
Not a whole lot. I think if you're the chef of a restaurant, you're the chef of a restaurant. It's a job, it's important to, again, like have respect for your boss or for your chef or your sous chef, whoever. The first chef is just a job to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I do feel though it designates like a years of experience and achievement. Like I feel like there's like that trend of where like if someone's just cooking in a restaurant, they're calling themselves a chef. And it's just like, no, and that's a misnomer. It's like, you're not a chef, you are a cook.
Yeah.
And you need to go through experience. You need to earn that title to a certain degree. But that would be
absolutely.
In any title. You don't get to just be called like whatever, whatever it is, you have that on your business card. You need to earn that experience.
Right. No, absolutely. Totally agree. It's one of those things. It's tricky. Like you said, it's a respect thing. If you earn that title and you want to be like, yeah, chef, absolutely. But then, obviously people can take that title too far. And at the end of the day, we're all just people and we're all more than our titles are. So totally get that. Is there anything that you guys have done to kind of change the traditional restaurant culture with your business, with Community?
Yeah, I guess, for me, like the culture of Community is very important to just express that our team, our people are the most important thing. And I think that's a very easy, it's a very sound, something that sounds good to say, like our people are our most valued thing. But
except for Pat, fuck that guy. Sorry, I'm joking.
Where's your comment, Pat? But
I'll let you know if he says anything.
But you really need to live it. And I think it's something that, for me as a manager in multiple restaurants and especially now in Community, but I feel like I need to earn the respect of the people that work for me every day. I don't get to take that for granted. I am, in a sense, though they're working for me, I'm also working for them. And I don't take that lightly. I want people working for me to like respect the decisions I make, to trust me, to know that they could come to me with anything. And I think that's been something very important to us. So any issue we've had, we've always been like very transparent, very honest. We've asked the opinion of our people. We implement a lot of the ideas of people from our team. We are extremely open in communication with everybody on our team.
That's really good.
I guess it's something a lot, and it's something I'm very passionate about. I will say, I guess it is probably easier for us right now. We are one independent restaurant, and including ourselves, that have active roles in a restaurant. We don't have outside workers. Our total team has always hovered between about 16 to 18 people. So that's small enough where, we can really embrace that. We can have meetings. We can communicate to everyone. We know everyone so deeply. Then I feel like it's easier for us maybe to foster that culture than larger establishments.
Yeah.
And I feel like if people feel heard and they feel valued and they feel empowered and they feel a sense of ownership over their own job title and over the place that they work for, that's what changes the culture, and it ultimately makes your business better.
Absolutely. Yeah, the creating the sense of ownership for your staff, I think, is extremely important. You know,
and that's
there's
too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I have, well, right now it's my sous chef and 2 cooks. That my sous chef's been with me for 7, 8 years, and the other 2 for over 2 years. I mean, it's like I have like these guys that are like my brothers, and it's very easy for me to work with them. And there's
I think at the end of the day, it's like you said, like, we're more than our titles. We're complex individuals, and I think that needs to be shown. Like, we view everyone as a unique individual, and we also want them to see us as individuals, and we're all sort of like working together on the same team.
Pat's got so much to say tonight. It's great.
Yes, and what he does.
Thank you for being. Thank you, Pat, for being an active member of the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, like, Pat is essentially our AGM, and he has done.
Okay.
Pat started though with us at Community before we owned it. He had no restaurant experience and started as a food runner.
Nice.
And then has gone through various things. Has been a server, has been a bartender, has been, is now our AGM. And he is very, he always has a lot to say on a lot of things. He's a deep thinker.
That's not always bad, right? I mean,
no, it's wonderful.
It's great. I mean, open communication, that's what it's about. That's great. What effects on chefs and restaurants do you think rating systems such as the Michelin Guide have? Like you said, like a lot of cooks starting out, we want to jump right into fine dining because that's the height. The Michelin Guide, the top 50, that's where we go. But there's a whole other side to it that's somewhat extremely negative. So how do you feel those rating systems really affect chefs and restaurants?
I think it's terrible. I think that Michelin, I don't think it makes a lot of sense in terms of who gets awarded what, right? I think, I'm not going to try not to, I don't want to talk shit about anything, but there's certain restaurants that receive a star or something, and then other restaurants that don't for no reason. And it must be political reasons or whatever it may be, but there is no cohesion between this restaurant got it for these specific Michelin Guide reasons. This restaurant didn't for the same reasons, and I think on a larger scale, it's setting this precedent for young cooks to that's what you need to get to. You need to get to a restaurant that will get a star, or you need to have a restaurant that'll get a star or 2 or 3 or whatever you want. When it'll just drive you crazy, really, a lot of people. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in it, I think, and that's what is.
And there's also a pretty big blind spot, I think, with it, because say if your goal as a restaurant is to like just like chase Michelin, and not to detract from anyone who have Michelin stars and are amazing and run like there are people out there that absolutely deserve it, places that of course deserve it. You know, it's not detracting from what they have earned. But I do think, from my experience, there's been places they're not looking at the company culture, the health of the business, the like your financial integrity as a business, your ethical practices. All of that is never looked at. And
yeah, that's absolutely true.
Like you could throw all cost, you know, any kind of creative thinking from a business mind, because this is a tough industry to be in. You want a restaurant to last 20 years, you need to be looking at cost. You need to be about creative with your product. You need to make sacrifices. To do Michelin, you could throw all that out the window. And I know we both worked at places where there was some of that mentality, where it's just like, here's the chef, this is the chef name. He can use any ingredient he wants. We're going to get the best plateware. We're going to take seats out of the restaurant. We're going to do this. And we're going to chase Michelin, and we're going to get it. And there's also a large percentage of those places that don't have any longevity, and you see them full. You see them close because that's not a sustainable business practice. Or you hear horror stories about what it was like to work there, or that they're bouncing checks, or you know, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've heard plenty of those horror stories.
Absolutely. I mean, I've lived some of them, and I've lived it from Michelin.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's upsetting to think that a restaurant is two sides of the same coin. You have the creative, what the guests see. You have what the guests see, the food, the ambiance, the beverage, you know, the service. And then you see the business side, the numbers, the HR, the team, the culture, how all of that's running. I feel like a lot of those awards programs only look at that one side. They look at it from the guest perspective. And maybe there is something to that. I mean, there is something to the artistry of like doing something just for the sake of the plate.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much focus is put on that it detracts from like this.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 50% of the, you know, what 50% of the restaurant is what you see, right? And then the other 50% is totally disregarded because they don't want to, you know, look at it. I mean, that's it.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, what you see on the plate in a fine dining restaurant, you know, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And it was just like so much underneath that led to that single bite of food or whatever it is, whether it's good or bad. And so it's kind of can be a mixed bag, but it's tough, definitely. And you guys bring up a lot of really good points about the Michelin rating system specifically. Is there any rating guide that you live by for your restaurant, even if it's just like a local paper or anything, Eater Chicago, or anything that you kind of look forward to of like, we'd really like to make this list kind of thing?
Our regulars.
Yeah,
honestly. I don't just, I mean, if the staff and, you know, Brenna and I and our regulars that come to the restaurant are happy, then that's enough. Like, and everybody that comes, but like our regulars are like super awesome. So.
Like, don't get me wrong. I would want to be on every list. like,
yeah, of course.
That is going to benefit our team, our business, us. Of course, we want to be on that. We want to be on Eater. We want to be on Timeout. We want to do all that stuff. Randomly, our burger is the thing that hits every single one of those lists, and it's like the thing that we like doesn't represent our business at all. But yeah, I totally agree with Joey. Like, we go in to work every day for the sake of our team. We have a responsibility to them and their livelihood, and for the sake of our guests, our regulars, our neighborhood. Those are the people that are making us able to do what we love and to exist. So we look at Yelp reviews, we look at our Facebook reviews, we look at our Google reviews, we look at every single email, we send out surveys, we We do all of that. And if that looks good, we know if that looks good and our team is happy, we know we're on the right track, regardless if we don't have the list, if we're not like, if we don't have a publicist, if we don't have this or that, like, know that we're we're on the right path and we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
At least in terms of like, I guess, you know, what we as individuals care about.
Yeah. The restaurant's doing good. We're good.
Yeah, that makes sense. How do you guys feel about Yelp reviews? Good, bad?
I mean,
I guess it depends.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, I think to a certain extent they're necessary. You know, I think like, I don't know, a certain percentage of them are going to be useful. But then there's a lot of them that are just ridiculous. So that part's annoying, but.
Well, so the reason why restaurateurs or people in the industry hate Yelp is because the bad reviews that happen to be the first line of communication for that experience, I think. So I feel like that's the biggest issue that, you know, like it's always been a thing where like restaurants are like, I hate Yelp, you know, that's
right. Yeah, of course.
You know, people from restaurants are saying like, oh, Yelp sucks, you know, but that's the main reason. So for us, we are lucky. Our Yelp reviews are good and all of that. But I feel like the only aggravation is if someone uses Yelp as a platform to address a concern they had without giving the establishment a chance to make it right. I mean, mistakes are going to happen. As hard as we work, as much as we care, we're going to mess up every now and again.
Of course.
And for us, like anyone that feels that way, for us especially, when we do mess up, it is excruciating, it's embarrassing, and all we want to do is make it right. So if we hear from the person, we are going to do whatever it takes to like make sure we want you to leave and be as happy as possible. That's our win. That's all we care about. We want you to come, enjoy, leave, tell everyone, have them come and enjoy. So it's just frustrating if someone uses some like public platform to share a grievance that we haven't been given the chance to address.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, everything's got its pros and cons, and you know, I feel like a lot of the issues with like Yelp, it's like it's so drastic. It's either like the best thing ever or like the worst thing ever, and it's like there's definitely shades of gray for all this stuff, or you know, little things like that. So I'm sure, you know, Yelp, as like you guys said, as long as your customers are happy and your employees are happy, then you're doing something right. So, do you guys watch? I'm sorry. No, keep going.
Oh no, I was just saying. I was just saying it is a necessity, regardless of how you feel about it. As a restaurant owner or working for a restaurant in this age, or a manager, you have to engage. You should be working to see those reviews, address them, and make whatever changes you need to in order to make it work for you. You know, like you can't ignore it. If you don't like it and you ignore it, like it's just not an option. It's there. It's not going away. You need to be able to like actively engage. Yeah,
for sure. That makes sense. Do you guys watch like Food Network or, you know, Chef's Table, Netflix, any like cooking shows or any of those programs?
I'll let you start with that. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Not a lot, to be honest. Like every once in a while, we do. I think it's often like so close to home with what we spend so much of our time on.
Yeah.
We usually watch things that are so far outside of our own reality. I love the Great British Baking Show. That fills me with joy and happiness. It's so nice and lovely. Yeah. I wish that I just lived in that tent. So I wish I just lived on that show and that was my reality.
It doesn't seem like a magical place.
I mean, in the past, we've watched Top Chef a little bit. It's been a long time. And then We do watch the chef's tables occasionally. Those come out, but yeah, that's probably.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, those are kind of the norms for most people, I'd say, in our industry for the most part. I personally love diverse dining and drives. Like, I know
I've never seen that.
it's a good show. Like, it's cool to see, like, you know, the dive places that are around the country. You know, it's like I you know, it's just fun. But
for sure.
Do you think that these type of programs like portray chefs and restaurants in an accurate, honest light?
No. It's TV. I mean, we were just talking about this the other day with like social media, TV, like those sorts of platforms give rise to exaggerated characters. So, you know, good TV, social media, what's most engaging is an exaggeration of reality. You know, like no one wants to see the majority of us going through the humdrum of our daily lives. And it's not to say it's dishonest, but it is, yeah, Great British Baking Show is the best. It is just extremes. So like, what they expect is often extreme.
There's no doubt that like, there's some reality in those shows. Like, you know, there's places that look like that, and that there's kitchens that operate like that all the time. But it's just not the majority of places that are
like I wish the Great British Baking Show was my reality forever.
I mean, yeah, to just eat pastries. And actually, I've never watched that show. I hear great things about it. I just haven't ever watched it, but I'm sure it's got to be pretty amazing.
It's fun.
I would imagine.
It's so amazing.
I mean, it's British people talking and making baked goods. I don't know how it could be bad, you know?
Really exciting. Like, there's like little animals frolicking outside. Amazing.
Yeah, that's good TV there.
Exactly.
Do you think these programs, though, have spawned like a more adventurous group of diners, though, just by kind of revealing more about what's out there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of things you're seeing are, you know, especially Chef's Table and stuff like that. It's really like interesting stuff that you don't usually see on, you know, your regular neighborhood place or whatever. And you know, it's really educational too, a lot of those shows. So
for sure.
Yeah.
People are into food and beverage as a hobby, you know, like obviously that's why we have a restaurant, you know, like coming to partake, you know, it's why we have the dining scene that we do in Chicago, which is so wonderful and diverse and creative. Those shows definitely help. Like our diners now are much more generally educated in restaurants and food and beverage than they've probably ever been before.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. I feel like anything, you know, there's good and bad, and it's going to create some probably extremely high expectations for all restaurants out there. But then at the same time, it's getting people to actually go out to experience these restaurants that they might not have done before. So it's definitely pretty good. Brenna, when did you started off, you went to culinary school and you started off back of house. When did you make that decision to actually go to front of house?
I made that decision pretty early on. I did my externship at Moto. I did a rotation to the front of the house. So Moto, like I said before, every position. So I started in the kitchen, but every person that worked at Moto was a cook. So you just like rotated through, aside from like their front of the house manager and their assistant front of the house manager. Everyone was a cook, so you rotated through, which was a really cool concept.
That's pretty cool.
When I rotated to the front of the house, I really loved it. I started falling in love with wine because it was only a tasting menu there, and then it was only like wine pairings. So I started falling in love with wine there. And then from there, I went to Oceanique in Evanston to also work as a cook. I started falling in love with wine even more there. Mark Gross, the owner and chef at Oceanique, has an unbelievable wine cellar. My first week there, he gave me a beautiful bottle of Tannat to like take home and try, and I was like so hooked. And so I think upon leaving there is when I made that decision. I mean, I was broke. I was feeling pressure. I really loved people. I obviously, if no one can tell from how much I talk, I like to talk and engage with people. And I do, like, I love wine. I've always liked to like serve people and like present things. So after Oceanique is when I started looking for front of the house positions. And once that happened, I never went back.
That's fair. So you're really so at the last restaurant you worked at, that's when you first started, or kind of your passion grew for wine. So I don't know that much about wine myself, and I need to get better at it. So I'm going to ask you a few questions about wine. Does the cost of a bottle of wine truly matter?
Not necessarily. Wine is such the entire world makes wine. It sort of depends on where you're at. So in certain regions, certain regions have really great value wines, and their market is just coming up. There's so many different factors involved. So I will say generally, the cost of the bottle of wine does not dictate how enjoyable it will be. That's not the case. And then just depending on what you're looking for and where you are in the world of wine, there is certain areas where you're going to be able to get more value for your money than others. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely. We have a shout out for you guys. Somebody really loves Community Tavern. So
Rita.
That's great.
Oh.
Hey.
Hello. Don noodles.
Yeah, look at that.
You are bomb AF. Thank you.
Do you have any tips for, I guess, me and anyone else who's watching and listening, for tips for pursuing wine more? Like, how do you, I mean, I guess you just have to drink it more, but like, there's just so many options out there. There's so many regions. There's New World, Old World. And so, like, what's a good starting point for people who want to get more into wine?
One of my favorite books starting out was Oz Clarke's Wine Atlas. That's a really great book to start. It really covers the world of wine in general, major wine regions, has a lot of images depicting the regions, understanding the culture behind it too. And that book is a great starting point. It really was early on. And then you just kind of have to sort of divide and conquer. You start with one area, and I guess exploring wine is sort of like exploring the globe, and any area that you go, like say if it's France, you really, in order to understand and explore the world of wine there, you also need to understand and explore the culture, the laws, food, like it's all sort of intertwined. So yeah, I would say start with Oz Clarke's Wine Atlas, sort of pick an area of the world that you're like most drawn to, and just start there and start exploring. And once you start getting a feel for that and you're reading and exploring that, then move on to another area of the world. I don't know. I guess that's how I sort of went about things.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense. I've never had that advice given to me about wine before, and it makes a lot of sense to do that. So,
and there's a lot of overlap between regions. Like Italy is its own craziness and is extremely complex. So pick what you love initially, start there, devour it, read about it, learn that, and then when you start branching out, you're gonna see similarities, and it's going to help you expand upon your knowledge.
Okay. Makes sense. Do you have any wine suggestions for Thanksgiving, since it is this week? Like for people who want to go out and get a nice bottle of wine for Thanksgiving meal, like what's a good like red and white, I guess?
Sure. Red for Thanksgiving, the first thing I think of is Beaujolais.
Okay.
So the Grape Gamay, something that is sort of like medium to light bodied, forward, good acid, not overpowering, not a lot of tannin. It goes with Wine Folly is also great. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
And Wine Folly is also really great. Wine resource, really great infographics. But yeah, Beaujolais, I would say for red, or any sort of like medium to light body, like Pinot, go for something like that. Thanksgiving is all about the smorgasbord. So you want to have like good acid, not overpowering tannins, good fruit. And then I really like whites, so high acid whites, especially from cool climates like Alsace, France, Austria, Germany, northern Italy. Those are all great places. So pick like a dry Riesling, Pinot Gris, something like that. All
right. I hope my fiance is watching, because she's the one that really wanted to know that for Thanksgiving. So I hope she was watching.
Oh, good.
Or is watching. She's somewhere in the house right now. I hope she's actually watching this and not just listening to the
background. Like show that before.
So Brenna, also, you mentioned to me before that you really like making cakes. Do you have a best cake that you've ever made that really sticks out in your mind?
I made Joey's twin sister's wedding cake.
Oh, that was.
Oh wow.
Is your fiance Julie?
Yes, that's my fiance.
Yeah, Beaujolais.
Is that how it's spelled, or is that how we'll find it? She's asking for spelling help. That's okay if you don't know how to spell it off the top of your head.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it? Okay, great. All right. Perfect.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, what was the question?
The best cake that you've ever made.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the wedding cake.
Yeah, I made his twin sister's wedding cake. That cake, I was terrified. I'd never made a wedding cake before.
That was awesome.
But it was really good. I was happy with that. And then I made a lot of cakes. I just recently, this last weekend, I made a cake for a 13-year-old's birthday, and her aunt was the one commissioning the cake, and
there we go.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting, but people keep commenting, and so you got so many people,
I love it.
Cakes.
Cakes. It's all about
cakes on cakes. Yeah.
So I made this cake. Her aunt, the woman that commissioned it, had this insane like porcelain octopus cake topper, and each of the textures was a place where you'd put the candle, and she gave it to me like, I hope you're going to be inspired by this. And I was terrified because I was like, oh crap, what does that mean to you? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm getting myself into. It ended up being awesome. I made this like carrot cake with a salted caramel layer, cream cheese frosting. And then I made these individual cake balls of cinnamon cake and carrot cake in all different sizes, decorated. And I like plugged them in between the octopus and on the cake. And then I did like a gold sort of like ombre effect on it. So it was like the octopus, all these like eggs or like little things it was protecting. It ended up being I was very excited about it.
That sounds really good. Yeah. I mean, that sounds awesome.
I like a fun cake.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, you're definitely hired to make our wedding cake for sure. So we'll be in touch. Don't worry.
All right, sounds good.
Joy, these questions are more directed for you. They're more chef focused, I suppose. As a chef, do you prefer owning your own business or being a part of somebody else's business, I guess?
Oh no, I like this better. I mean, it's it's hard. It's a lot harder, obviously.
I would imagine.
Yeah, but I get to do it with her, and that's awesome and easier than working with somebody that you don't like. And yeah, I mean, food wise, I get to kind of do whatever.
Yeah.
Even if you're a chef at a place with an owner that is like a solo owner, they always have say in what you're making. So
yeah,
I like this.
That makes sense. Is there anything you miss about being a line cook again, or just kind of?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
If I could be a line cook forever and just do that, I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, I work. I don't want to say I work on the line every day, but I mean, I'll work garde like 2-3 days out of the week. I love cooking on the line.
Yeah.
It's
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like there's not much else like it. It's
Exactly.
it's hard to explain to people like why it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
From outside, it kind of looks completely miserable, but like it's a weird thing.
Miserable in the best way. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's a good one. So you worked at Momofuko in New York, David Chang's restaurant. Mm-hmm. What was that like working in like a world famous restaurant and chef?
Yeah, it was weird. So when I moved out there, I didn't even. So I didn't go out there with a job. I just kind of went and
backpack.
Yeah, I had stuff that I needed to live, but so I needed a job, and I found that job on Craigslist. I didn't even know what Momofuku was when I applied.
Yeah.
James is one of my cooks.
That's great.
Yeah.
You guys have a great turnout from everyone. It's really awesome to see the support for you guys on here tonight. So
yeah, when I applied for that job, I didn't even know what Momofuku was, and like I walk into the interview and I'm like bombarded with 4 sous chefs and the CDC, and there's like grilling me on stuff. I'm like, this would be a cook, man. I don't get it. But so I got that job, and it was opening Momofuko. It was at that time it was their 4th restaurant only.
Okay.
So yeah, so like we opened up that restaurant, which was insane because it was like this really well-known group doing another restaurant. So like we did like a bunch of soft openings, and Anthony Bourdain. I met Anthony Bourdain
wow.
for the opening, because he was there.
That's really cool.
There's people that went there all the time, right?
Yeah, a lot of people went there, but so that was crazy. And the rest was good. It was a lot of experience I gained there. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Learned a lot. It was nuts. A lot of aggressive shit went down in that kitchen. That again, that the mentality in that particular restaurant group at that time was pretty tough.
Yeah.
But I mean, David Chang was there every once in a while doing his thing, like kind of yelling at people every once in a while, and just
that'll happen.
When a food writer would come in, he would be there and make people nervous, and but it was an experience. It's something I wouldn't change it for anything really. But
yeah. How does that compare to working in like a more casual restaurant or something that's a little lesser known, I guess, local?
It's night and day. I mean, it's completely. I mean, at Momofuko we had 4 sous chefs, a CDC executive chef, and then Chang running around somewhere, and then there was like cooks. So many cooks. I mean, we had 4 prep cooks. We had again, it was a huge operation. We had to do, because it was in a hotel, so we had to do room service, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But we did lunch and dinner service, and but it was just completely different than working at Community Tavern. You know what I mean? It's everything about it.
Just completely different. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Where did your, I guess if you want to call it a passion, where did your passion for Pan Asian cuisine come from? Because that's the, I don't want to say theme, but that's Community, right? But you do a lot of Pan Asian influenced food.
Yeah, for sure. So really it started when I started working at Spring. So Spring is closed now, but they were open in 2001. Sean McLean was chef there, Green Zebra and Custom House back in the day. So Spring was heavily focused on seafood and Japanese flavor, stuff like that. So that was the first time I was really like kind of immersed in it. It's all I was cooking and learning about. And I just kind of fell in love with it. Just not Japanese food in particular, but really any kind of Asian flavors or cooking techniques or Asian culture, really. And that was that, and then Momofuko was, or Ma Pech, it was Vietnamese, a lot of Vietnamese there. So yeah, I mean, I just think it's the most exciting type of cooking. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Asian cuisine is like one of my favorites. Even just working at Little Go, there's a lot of Asian influence in there, and that's kind of what spawned it for me, of just like searching out those ingredients and like this stuff's like really amazing, and all the spice and everything. It's just great.
Yeah.
So I definitely, even at home now, it's like a lot of the cooking, it's like regardless of what it is, it's always got some kind of fermented pepper paste or something in there. It's gonna give it a little Asian flair. But so you have a son, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Would you want your son to end up in the food service industry, be a chef?
Oh man, depending on what the industry looks like.
Well, yeah, obviously you wouldn't want him going to it right now.
Yeah. No. Man, if whatever he wants to do, really, I'd be cool with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
why
like
not?
Right now, if you ask him what he wants to be, just recently he's learned the term chef, because he used to always say he wanted to be a cooker.
A cooker, yeah.
And I think he also thinks I'm a cooker.
Yeah.
Because he thinks all I do is cook all day.
Make cakes.
Yeah, make cakes and cook, because I'm the one who cooks his food. So, but yeah, I feel like for us, I feel like most people, if someone would be like, would you recommend someone to like go into this industry? Like we've had times where people have reached out like career changes or young people interested. I think like we all come from a place of like
let's think about it a little bit.
Like I want to like tear down your dreams of what you think it is, and then if you're still like gung ho, okay, good. I feel like Clarence, like ultimately it's the restaurant. We live above the restaurant. You know what I mean? This is such a huge part of his upbringing, what he's seen, the people in his life. It's going to be so ingrained in him that if he loves it, wants to pursue it, like we will, of course, we're going to support him and give him the best tools to do that. And I think regardless of what he would choose, we'll do that.
Who knows? I mean, he might.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I would almost, I just kind of want to do something else because it'd be more interesting. Like, I'd be like, well, your son's in the industry. We all do the same thing. Like, I want him to do something like totally different than what we do, just so it's like something different.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes
sense. Yeah.
But yeah, whatever he wants to do.
Well, that's good. Before you guys actually got together, what was the most challenging part about being single in the industry and dating. Like obviously we work a lot of late nights, and it's, it's tough for people to like date and actually connect with people, So what was it like for you guys, like before you ended up together?
We both dated people who weren't in the industry, or another one of our team.
Oh, it's Thea.
Great pick, Thea.
Does that even look like
good?
That?
It does. But yeah, we both dated people who weren't really like in the industry. And I think, I don't know, I won't speak for you, but for me, like that was very difficult. I think anytime I dated someone who did not have restaurant experience or didn't like love the industry like I did, because I mean, at the time I was given everything to it, all my time, my passion. Outside of work, that's what I wanted to explore. I wanted to hang out with people that I worked with outside of work. Like it was. It had such a gravitational pull for me that anytime I would date someone who didn't experience that, there was such a divide. I never felt like they really could know and accept me fully. Like from a even like a casual date to like a more serious relationship, obviously people make that work, but for me, it was definitely hard to like explain and get someone to understand how I viewed my work, especially at times when I was not making good money. I was working crazy hours. You're sort of like, why do you do this? And it's hard to kind of explain to someone who's not in it and in love with it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wait, what was the question? It was kind of like, what? Sorry.
Like
I was listening to the whole thing, but
before we were together, what was difficult about being in the industry and like dating?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's just if you're gonna date somebody outside the industry, it's next to impossible if you don't have a mutual understanding about what is actually going on. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or someone who's in their industry that is just as dedicated to their industry in that way, like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And obviously the hours too. Like if somebody is, going to work at 2 p.m. and then getting home at midnight.
Yeah. Right.
Like someone working a 9 to 5 and then trying to date someone. Whereas like we have a lot of friends who have partners in the healthcare industry, and that works out well because I think those are also very like you're fully encompassed. The hours are crazy. It's
absolutely
dedication. So I think you can kind of find common ground, but
yeah, that makes sense. And I would agree that the medical industry is probably the only one that like I guess can sympathize with that of just working just crazy hours or all the time. And that's an industry. I don't know how people do it. That's tough. I don't. Kudos to anyone, especially right now. So if anyone's watching who's in the medical field, thank you for what you're doing right now. So with being a married couple and owning business and running business together, like how do you guys keep work at work for the most part? And with, I guess I didn't know it's living above the work. How do you try to keep it at work as best you can?
It's kind of not. I mean, it's just like, I don't know, when it. Wait, it was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I knew Brenna was out there, so I was just.
Yes.
I couldn't think
exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Like, we don't really. Sorry, my hair is. We don't really turn it off until like it just gets turned off.
We don't turn it off. Like we have like a fight about it, and then we have to agree like we shouldn't.
Yeah.
Just pause. Let's pause this. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets paused for a minute, and then that's
right.
it.
I feel like we found a balance where we can kind of read each other. Like if one is like at home, chilling,
She grabs a knife and starts running at me, then we stop.
That's like, all right, ready, pause.
You'll be really, really tired. And I do try to be thoughtful. Sometimes I don't succeed, but like I will try to be thoughtful, be like, all right, I'm not going to bring up this project or this thing we need to talk about right now. But for the most part, I mean, we are, it's such a huge part of what we're doing together all the time that you can't really have like a separation. It's not like we come home and our house is a work-free zone. Like we do a lot of our communication about the restaurant at home, not during work hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, that just like weirdly works for us most of the time.
Yeah.
And then we do try to like occasionally have a date night, but we're not about that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, I'm sure.
It's like, you know, we're on the same page.
I'm trying to make it work. I know date nights are tough to do just in the industry, and I can't even imagine with running a business. Like that's got to be even harder. So kudos to you guys for sure. But I guess speaking of date nights and everything, like what do you guys do to decompress, and like what does self-care mean to you guys with having such running a business, and just the food service industry in general is just stressful. And so what do you guys do to self-care?
You should talk about your tattoos. I think that's one of your biggest self-care things.
Yeah, I just get tattooed a lot. I don't know. It sounds weird, but it's
No, I get. I mean, I got.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have as many as you, but I get that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really therapeutic for me.
It forces you to sit down for longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, sit down for longer. My tattoo artist is like one of our good friends from years ago, and it's always
okay.
I don't know. Drink a lot of water. Do push-ups.
That's good.
Try to sleep. Whenever we can.
You're not very successful with that because our son wakes you up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, but
that's.
Well, he's been on this.
I don't know.
He's been waking up at 5:15, and it's cool because he kind of chills for like an hour and a half. So I get to like just lay there and maybe sleep a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I guess like for me, like I really embrace like I like to do like girly things. Like I like to get my hair done. I like to like put together outfits and like sort of like do that sort of thing. I'm really into like interior design, like creative projects, things like that. So I like to kind of have like a project outside the restaurant. That has some. It's a big reason why I do the cakes too. Like doing cake is something that's super creative that I'm. That keeps me busy because I like to be busy. I'm happiest when I feel productive. Like I have like something motivating me and inspiring me. I can't just like sit around. I start feeling like a lump of trash.
Yeah.
And I also watch like a lot of like really terrible TV. Like the worst, most embarrassing TV that I like don't want to.
Joey is shaking his head.
That's like the. I like put it on in the background and it just runs like all day as I'm doing stuff, and I just like I'll miss large chunks of it, but like it's there and it's like the worst ever.
That's funny. Yeah, my fiance agrees with you. So.
Oh yeah, you can watch The Only Way is Essex. Yeah, I'll throw that one out there. You want some really terrible TV? There you go.
All right. That's funny. So tell us a little bit about Community. Like, how did you come to own Community, and like what is Community? Share the knowledge.
Well, Community originally opened in February of 2015. I wasn't involved with Community at that time. The original owner owned the Portage, and then Joey was the chef there. And together they opened up Community. Joey as the chef for Community. I came on board 3 months after Community opening as like the DO for Community and the Portage. At that time, we had, we wanted to sort of be a group and maybe create some other projects and stuff like that. And we worked that way. It was the first time Joey and I worked together in that capacity, aside from when we first ever met and worked at the same restaurant randomly. But yeah, I mean, I guess, long story short, the owner came to us near the end of 2017 and offered to sell us Community and the other restaurant at that time. And we knew at that time we wanted Community and we wanted to own Community. So we bought it and we became the owners January 1st of 2018.
Wow, very cool.
We sort of created it into we changed a lot because like it was our first thing. That's sort of like your baby, you want to yourself in it. You wanted to make the changes. We'd both been working in it, so we had ideas of what we'd want to do. So we made a ton of changes in 2 weeks. And we opened. It was insane. Our son was like 3 months old, 3 months old.
3 months,
at the time.
Wow.
Bananas. And now we have Community. And when it opened, it was a French-inspired boutique steakhouse.
Okay.
When we bought Community, and after that, those 2 hell weeks, we reopened as what it is now. So a contemporary American restaurant with Pan-Asian influence, a lot of dedication to using local product like our CDK Angus and Heritage Pork products, Work Farms produce.
Shout out to Work Farms.
Yeah, Work Farms, amazing. Local foods, all the farms that they work with. So we do a lot of stuff with regional, local/regional Midwestern product as well.
Yeah.
And Community to us is, it's our mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
We have a small team. We live upstairs. We're in an offbeat neighborhood. We're very involved in our community. We know our regulars. They're literally our neighbors. And it's essentially our living room. Like we wake up downstairs, the restaurant is our living room. I put my coffee in a mug and walk downstairs with it. It's our home. Yeah.
That's great. So
that's enough.
This is why, Brenna, this is why you're front of house, right? And then Joey, you're back of house, right? This just makes sense. It's the perfect visual representation of what it's kind of like of front of house, back of house, right? That's very fun. So with front of house and back of house, there is kind of like that, there is a marriage that is between the two, right? And so for you guys actually being married, which is harder to maintain, the balance of your marriage or of when you're working front of house and you're working back of house? Not your actual marriage, but is it
front of house?
How do you keep it separate of well, you're my wife, but then you're also this front of house person that I have to deal with, you know what I mean?
That might be.
Yeah, but when Brenna's in the restaurant, everybody shuts the fuck up, and you're the boss, right? So everybody,
you get mad at me sometimes though, if I get a little too aggressive.
With me,
which is totally true. I'm out of line, but in the moment, I'm no.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It's all pretty easy.
For us in the restaurant, the general marriage between back of house and front of house, and if you're going to talk about it in terms of the team, I think for the most part is very easy for us. Small team, we have a lot of longevity in our team, so people have worked with us.
Yeah.
For the strong majority have worked with us for at least 2 years, if not more. Danny going on 8 years, etc. We have a couple of front house that are 5 years. So they all know each other. They respect each other. Of course, there's going to be little tiffs here and there, but I wouldn't say that it's really a front of the house, back of the house divide so much in our restaurant. Everyone respects each other, and I think that works pretty well. I think for us, it's like I don't know. I think we work really well together as well. Like we're so different in a lot of ways, but we share the same passions and beliefs and values. And we have skill sets that are so drastically different that I think we have so much respect for each other. And that even though we know what aggravates the hell out of each other, like I know what I would do to piss him off, and I think he knows what he does that pisses me off. But it's just like the reality. Like I know that's going to be there. They're parts of what happens, so it's not a shock or a surprise. We just figure out how to like work together for the and also have like I think you have to have a sense of humor. I feel like we do laugh a lot together.
That's good.
We'll get like pissed, but then we like laugh a lot. And you're also like you are so good at like making peace. Like you'll always be the one that wants to like hug it out and like melt my icy exterior.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It just really works.
That's good. I mean, what is it? Man, I can't think of the madness. What is that expression? I'm blanking on it. The madness to the method to my madness, whatever. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
There is a method to the madness. Yes.
Yes. There we go. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you. So you guys were just on WGN last night, right? Was that last night? So yeah, somebody need a fried chicken sandwich or a fried chicken sounds good.
Yeah, a fried chicken dish. Yeah.
Okay.
Big, best Chicago comfort food to go, and I think like 4 restaurants. So we were on there for our fried chicken dish.
Very cool. That's awesome. It's very cool.
It was fun. They were really good to work with, and we were very happy to be on that. And I really liked the segment. I think it went well.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's cool. That's nice that there's that, anything local is still like getting out there to try to highlight businesses still, especially restaurants at this time. And have you guys had to, right? I know that you've had to. What have you had to do to adapt your business to the pandemic and all the craziness that's still happening?
Oh man. Gosh, I wish I had everything. So before the pandemic, we did what's in it? As in the fried chicken?
I think the fried chicken, yeah.
It's like a kind of like a Korean fried chicken, right? So
it's a half chicken, right?
Half chicken, 3 pieces, breaded, fried, sweet chili sauce, cured cucumbers, celery puree, and whatever vegetables we're using. So squash and bok choy right now.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
It's really
I'm sorry, what were you saying about the adaptations you've made?
Yeah, so pre-pandemic, we did almost no carry-out business. We, for the longest time, we didn't even have someone that could do delivery or like a carry-out platform. And then we got shut down, and in 48 hours, we went to 100% carry-out. So, like we found out about the initial stay-at-home order on the Sunday before St. Patrick's Day. We had an emergency management meeting with us, Pat, and Rachel on that Monday, which is the day we're normally closed and all off.
Yeah.
And we reopened Tuesday, I believe, as 100% carry out. And then we started we changed the menu, we changed our website, we completely changed our dining room. When they reopened for phase, we added a sidewalk cafe. We have hanging plexiglass dividers on our bar. We, after cocktails to go was legalized, through I would like to give a shout out to our state rep, Lindsay LaPointe, who really helped a lot, as well as Julia Momos spearheading Cocktails for Hope that really kind of like brought that legislation forward. We had to figure out packages like tamper-proof lids and bottles and design labels and all of our food, how we plate food. You know, it's all going into containers. We started doing delivery with our own team members in order to create chefs. We for Grubhub for the very first time. New health procedures. We made everyone sign health pledges. We got thermometers in.
Basically,
we had
everything.
To create a policy for how we would handle things related to COVID. So much email communication with all of our guests. Like it. I mean, that's like the tip of the iceberg.
We could go for an hour because it was everything, and it, you know, it just we had to keep adapting to, you know, then reopening to dine in, and then we got shut down again. And but you know, I think everything's going well because we have awesome regulars and our staff is fantastic. So I mean, we couldn't ask for more right now, you know.
Yeah, that's great. That's really awesome. So I have a final question, and this comes from Instagram, and I'm sorry if I pronounce your name right, but at Chilba Master would like to know, what kind of product are you guys using for your amazing burgers, and is it a house grind?
Yes, so cool. Good question. We grind in-house usually, depending on how much beef and beef scrap we have, right? So all of our beef comes from CDK out in Lena, Illinois. So if we have beef that we're grinding in-house, it's skirt, sirloin, and chuck. So basically shoulder. If we have to order it, we'll order the CDK ground beef, and he'll do all sorts of stuff. So short rib, skirt steak, chuck rolls, stuff like that. So the most important part about the burgers is the CDK. So
nice. Yeah, that sounds really good. All right, so that was pretty much the most of my questions. So now we're going to move into the lightning round, which now for everyone listening, I usually make a list of the questions. I send them out to everyone, so everyone has a good chance to think over their answers before they come on the show. But these are completely unknown to them, so they have not heard or they don't know what these are. So we will get right into the lightning round. All right, so, and you guys can take turns or however you guys want to answer, but whatever, but as fast as possible, whatever comes to mind first. So first up, what is your favorite fast food?
Oh my God.
Oh man, is Chipotle a fast food?
Yeah, that's fast food.
Wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. You should just say Dunkin' Donuts because even
Dunkin' Donuts.
You go.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one.
I'll eat some Dunkin' Donuts for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What is your go-to hangover cure?
Well, yours is sobriety.
Yeah, I don't drink anymore, so.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Oh gosh.
No, it's all good. I have a perpetual hangover cure. So
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
And for me, I don't know. I don't usually get hungover. But when I do, I don't know. I guess what most like just drink water and.
Water, okay. All right. That's fine. For me, well, before, I guess in college, it was always Taco Bell after a night. I always had to go to Taco Bell after. That always made me feel better. The Baja Blast did it for me every time.
Baja Blast.
Yeah. It's the only time Baja Blast is good is with Taco Bell. Any other time it's pretty garbage. But
yeah.
What was your first job in food?
Mine was at the Norway Store restaurant in Norway, Illinois. I think it's the first Norwegian settlement in Illinois. It's a gas station, deli, diner, and Norwegian grocery store all in one. And I worked the deli and diner. So we'd cook, serve, work the deli. And it was like me and like some of my like teenage girl pals in high school that worked there.
Very cool.
Rosario's Pizza in Park Ridge.
Nice. All right. Nice.
Good.
I like Rosario's Pizza, actually. That's pretty good.
No. That was good. Good.
All right. What was your favorite food to eat as a kid?
Milkshakes.
Breakfast. Just like anything breakfast, like eggs.
Breakfast?
All that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was milkshake and chicken tender. Like every time I went out.
Yeah.
Like every night I ate a bowl of ice cream, but like when we're out, I always eat chicken tenders and like a giant milkshake. Like if there was a milkshake option, that is ridiculous. Sorry.
Jeez.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. This is great. This is, it's fine. All right. What would your last meal on earth be? I guess death row meal would be the more appropriate question, I suppose.
On me from Henry's in Brooklyn. So I don't know if they're still there. It's a banh mi shop. It used to be down the street from my apartment. And Henry's banh mi. That would be it. Best thing I've ever.
Banh mi's are really good.
Yeah. This one was, I had 3 in one day once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I understand that. Maybe 2 years ago now, this January, my fiance and I went to Vietnam, and I ate like every time I saw a banh mi stand, I was like, I'm getting one. Like, it was incredible. Yeah. So.
Eggs Benedict, like homemade eggs Benedict with homemade English muffins, the whole thing. A Vietnamese coffee.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, those are good. What's your favorite thing to cook at home?
Favorite thing to cook? I don't know. Like we do such a terrible job of that. I would say we do like a lot of like roasted veggies, or like we kind of like meal prep. So we do like a lot of like vegetables, then we cook a ton of rice, and then we cook
rice,
like
vegetables,
meat.
and salsa.
Yeah, like we make bowls out of like protein veg and rice a lot. I feel like if we have time, I like to make like complex noodle dishes.
Yeah, makes sense. It's good. What's the best thing to eat deep fried?
Deep fried egg rolls.
Man, this is a tough one, man. French fries keep coming to my mind because fries are amazing, but
right, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
French fries is a good one. I mean, potatoes, any fried potato, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of lame, but it's true.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Where's shrimp kind of a thing.
What condiment do you always have to have in your fridge at home?
Hot sauce. So sriracha, we had Frank's recently. That was all right, but some kind of hot sauce for sure.
You use hot sauce in everything.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
I think that would probably be the same for me. Or I need to have mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. I love
mayonnaise or Miracle Whip. I don't think you can have both. I think that's against the law to have mayonnaise and Miracle Whip.
Oh no, we usually have both.
Really?
That's love
crazy.
it.
I'm
like obsessed with it. It's so delicious. But I usually have mayonnaise for you, or like if you need to like make something, I'm not gonna make Miracle Whip. It's like a base, and
Yeah, we have mayonnaise, but then like Kewpie as well, because we got a Japanese mayo in the house. Yeah.
Oh, and
for anyone listening, if you haven't had Japanese mayo, get it. It will change your life.
Yeah, you can get it by like the gallon jug at Junbu.
Yeah, I love that store.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite store in Chicago. But what's your favorite movie with food in it, or like chef movie, I guess?
Chef.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like
Chef's good.
two of my favorites are Eat, Drink, Man, Woman and like Water for Chocolate.
Okay. Very cool. All right, this one's a little more in-depth, but if you had to invite a group of people to the ultimate dinner party, dead or alive, who would they be?
Dear God, yeah.
I know. There's so many people.
Like, how many people are we talking?
We'll say if you can invite 3 people.
3. Julia Child, I think, would be one for me.
I'm thinking about mine.
I don't know. I feel like these questions I'm very bad at because I like.
I mean, that's a tough one for a lightning round, but this is the last one, so I figured it had to be a little bit more.
Yeah. I feel like
A
Julia
little more to think about.
One for me. Yours would be David Packman, not Pac-Man.
I like David Packman.
Yeah, David Packman.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber, a progressive YouTuber. He's awesome.
Yeah.
David Packman, I do Iggy Pop and
that's a good one.
Joey Ramone.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be weird as hell, but it'd be cool.
That would be, yeah. That would be.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I don't know who my other ones would be.
That's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. We got Julia Child. That's good. Julia, just you and Julia Child. Yeah, that'd be good. All right. Rita's got 2 more for you, actually. Favorite fruit?
It used to be mango for me. Mango for a long time was my favorite fruit.
I would say peach, but also like yuzu. If we're talking like citrus fruits, yuzu will win. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had like actual yuzu before. Only like yuzu juice, but I would imagine it's pretty good.
It's amazing.
All right, we got one more. This is a nice one.
It helps the business work.
For me, I would say like I don't know how to describe it in like one attribute though. That like okay, so Joey is very much has like the biggest heart. He's incredibly generous. He's incredibly generous. Like I'm usually like if we like get an argument, like I'll be the one that like I can feel in myself like I'm being stubborn and I'm not like willing to back down or something. And he will always be like he's always like rational emotionally and always wants to like make the peace and will just do what it takes just to like keep things on track. And I think that's very it's just very important. It's like you have like emotional patience with me, I guess. You know, like you kind of like let me lead a lot, let me like kind of like go full force, and you will check me when you need to, but like you'll always be the one that like makes the peace and like makes sure that like everything's like good and happy.
Yeah. I don't know, I think you kind of answered it. I mean, Brenna does all of the things at the restaurant, and she is always on top of everything. I mean, she'll push you to do the things you need to do, like pretty hard, but you need somebody like that. And, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I get to look at her every day, so it's nice.
Aw, that was adorable. All right. Well, we're about an hour 45, which is great. You guys had a lot of really awesome things to say, a lot of really awesome insight into the industry. but I feel like we can about wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. It was really awesome to get to know you guys even better. For all of those of you watching, if you're in Chicago, definitely hit up Community Tavern for some awesome food. If you're not in Chicago, just look them up so you know when you come into Chicago, you're going to go there. But thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you really like this program, hit that like button, leave a comment, bell for notifications, all that good stuff. But Brenna and Joey, thank you so much again for joining me. And hopefully we'll get to work together in the future, or I'll be in whenever I actually can go eat at the restaurant again. So thank you so much, and everyone have a great night.
Thank you.